we get to welcome on our next guest after a New Orleans Saints victory. Our guy, Nick Underhill, neworleans.football. Nicholas, how we doing this week, sir?
Hey, doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. We got
totally blew it.
What?
We said if we won this week, we'd have him on video.
We did.
Can we FaceTime real quick?
We did say that. That's on us. That just means he owes us next week after they beat the Patriots, right, Nick?
I don't see that one coming. But
you have little faith.
Oh, whoa.
Did you not see them this last Sunday? The takeaways, the defense, the Spencer Rattler throw to Rashid Shaheed?
I mean, they played good. They played all right. Shout out to Jackson Dart for being a absolute disaster after going up 14-0 too. That helps. But look, I mean, they played well. They took advantage of their opportunities. They beat an opponent they needed to beat. I think it's incredibly important for them to get that one. Even if you're someone checking Tankathon after every game to see where they're at, like they needed to win a game at some point to feel it, to keep everyone bought in. It gives Spencer Rattler, I think, more room to continue to develop, which I think is important. But more importantly, just like as you establish your culture and everything, at some point there has to be some level of success, even if everybody's looking around and saying, "Hey, look, this is a rebuild. Understand where it's at." At some point, you got to win a game. But yeah, look, I thought they played well. I thought it was great that the bright spots in that game are all younger guys that I think are probably going to be around for a while. I thought Brian Brzee played outstanding, and I think he's been playing well all season. The run defense has looked a lot better. Jonas Sanker might be the best player in their secondary right now, which kind of feels like a hot take, but I just think it's just what it is. Like if you're watching the games, that's just what it looks like. Quincy Riley looked good in that game. Like Kendrick Miller was running the ball well again. Like I think there's a lot of stuff to feel good about, independent of the result. And whether they beat the Patriots or the Bears or the Rams or the Bucks in the next 4 games, like that's just kind of the stuff I'm looking for. So like I'm optimistic about that stuff, even if the result isn't there.
Nick, in life, you got to celebrate the victories. You have spent your entire life. You spend every day tracking these guys, looking at, taking notes, watching practice. When they win, you got to start out positive, man.
Hey, when they win, I can actually do like cool stories and stuff. So like that's the best part of it.
Yeah.
Like you can't like really go in there and be like, oh, how does Kellen Moore use motion on 3rd and 4 to get the like no one gives a damn. Like so you got to keep. Right. There's like a ton of stuff that's in my pocket that I'm unloading the clip this week, and then we'll see what happens next week. So I absolutely, and like even just in the locker room, like people want to talk to you. Like no one's trying to get away from you. You go watch the press conferences after that game. There's like no last question from anybody. Like everyone's excited to talk about stuff like so that definitely makes it way better.
You said it in your first answer here. Like the Saints were opportunistic. They took advantage of the opportunities that were given to them, and you can't apologize for somebody fumbling or throwing an interception or whatever it is. But you have to be able to take advantage, and we haven't seen them do that to this point. And in order for them to, whether it's stack 2 wins together or get multiple wins throughout the season, they're going to have to be opportunistic. They can't just rely on their roster, their talent pool that they're relying, because they're going to be at a roster deficit in a lot of their games. Now, not every single game, but they have to do that. So how do you, if you're the Saints and you're attacking this week, I know there's a lot of like positive vibes going on, but how do you kind of attack this week going forward?
I think they just got to try to find a way to, and this is just such a generic answer, but like they got to find a way to build on it. I mean, like they're trying to play bend but don't break defense, and every time Staley talks, it's like, hey, we aren't giving up the 40-yard bomb, but like you're giving up the 9, and like that's cool. You can do that, but like you do have to get the turnovers and the red zone stops and get up the field on 3rd down to do it. So like you just showed you can do it. You showed you can get some turnovers. You showed you can get off the field on 3rd down. So you got to keep doing that. I think offensively, like, we continue to see like growth and add on to some of the stuff they're doing. And we were just talking about the under center plays, and they've started rolling them out against Buffalo. They're bringing them back out in this one. And again, like having a kick return and you start at the 9 and you're pinned back, like you're probably not going to be sitting back there in shotgun on every snap, but like the under center snaps were higher, partially due to that series. But then they hit the 87-yarder out of an under center play action look. I formation, offset on the far side. Like, you look at Kellen Moore's tendency throughout, like, his whole entire career. There's been like 70 of those plays over the last 3 years. And from that look under center, far offset. And he's only thrown out of it 4 times. That was the 5th time. So you're seeing cool stuff get built on top of it too. And they're creating tendencies now to break them. And I think if you just keep doing that kind of stuff, it's going to help your offense. It's going to put them into advantageous situations. It's going to give Rattler the time to develop and grow. But I think the defense has to remain opportunistic, and they have to start scoring touchdowns in the red zone. That's a major, major issue right now. You get 5 turnovers and you get 1 touchdown. And a lot of that's because they aren't scoring points down there. And Bailey, I think, is kind of the key to it. Bailey and Juwan Johnson, where are those 2 guys at in that area of the field? I think they really got to get Bailey going. The injuries, I think he's on the other side of it. They've been bringing him back slowly. It's time to make him a weapon because, we're looking for those bright spots that he needs to be when you traded a 4th rounder for him. So that's the specific area where you're looking for him. And Juwan Johnson, too, he's a top 15 paid tight end. He's got to make red zone catches. So you got to get those 2 guys going. But I think it's just the continual build on top of stuff.
Nick, you had a couple of guys come back, and we talked about it last week, in Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill. Now, Taysom only plays 9 plays, and it was very I feel like you could predict when he came in, kind of what it was. I mean, he ran 6 times and threw once in the 9 plays, and so he was involved in the game plan when he was in there. Very easy to predict, and so you hope that they, maybe hide it, disguise it a little bit better there. But I did think, even having Foster Moreau for what he played 23 plays in this game, it does help kind of solidify this offense a little bit because Juwan Johnson, there's flashes without question, but it's not consistent enough, I don't think, for what you need at the tight end position. And having those guys back, it does allow Juwan Johnson to kind of get back to what he's best at, or at least what you hope he's best at. How did you feel like having those 2 tight ends in your offensive game plan kind of helped out on Sunday?
Yeah, I think Taysom looks maybe a little like a guy that was coming back from an injury too.
Right.
Maybe not quite all the bursts there. Probably take a little bit of time. On 3 of those runs, if you go back and look at it, the pulling guard completely misses his block. So I think Torricelli Simpkins and Trevor Penning are kind of to blame on those as well. But yeah, I think it's probably going to take some time. And like you said, I think it was incredibly telegraphed. It always is, but when he's not moving like Superman, I think it probably hurts a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I think they got to build on. He's got to get his legs under him. I think Foster kind of had some silent impact. When you go through and you're like, hey, how'd that get sprung, or why'd that look good? Or you just see someone who's that making that block out? You're seeing some of these plays from him that I think he's just such a good energy presence. I think having both of them back, though, like you said, I think it allows everyone to kind of settle into their natural order. We'll see what Taysom is going forward. I think that's what they did is probably, I think you can blend it probably a little bit better, but that's probably the package of plays that I want to see from him this season. I thought Kubiak centralized him way too much to the offensive operation, and then he gets hurt, and the whole thing just kind of crumbles, and then it's well, they can't score, they can't do this, and it's well, yeah, you tried to build it around Juszczyk, and that's Taysom, and
right.
It worked when it worked, man, and it worked great. But then he's gone, and it didn't. He's 35 years old last year of the contract. I think he's a player that can help you win games, so you use him and you put him out there. But I don't know that you make it the piece of chicken in the pan and the seasoning on top, and I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Nick, we saw a really just an absolute brutal, horrendous call on the ref and the passer. And I know you get bad calls every week, and I know that the team every week, every single team turns in plays to the league office for explanations on penalties or penalties that weren't called. Do you know if we've heard back from the NFL league office at this point?
As of yesterday, they hadn't. They had reached out to kind of get an explanation. I mean, that's just it's nasty, man. And that matters. It actually matters. He has a chance to, he has a chance to maybe lead the league in sacks unbelievably, but 5.5, that puts you up there.
Yep.
And that's money at the end of it. Whether I got to look to see if he's got incentives or not. But if you end at 8.5 sacks or you get 10 or whatever, a sack can make a major difference in how you're perceived. Oh, he's not a double-digit sack guy. Well, what if he gets stopped at 9.5?
Mm-hmm.
It's well, that one was actually there. It matters. It really does. and look, it's just nasty to watch the game, and then that happens. I don't need to see, James Harrison type hits out there anymore. Like, you kind of look at some of that stuff now, the old games, and, even just going back 10 years, like, you cringe a little bit at some of the stuff that is out there and getting celebrated. But, like, man, that was the softest thing I've ever seen, like legitimately. And we're days removed, so that's not like an in the moment thing. Like, it was legit. Like, he got him around the elbows, and it's just like he had too much force when he hit him, so they throw a flag. Is basically how it looked to me. And that's just kind of like, all right, man, like that's ridiculous. So yeah, definitely. Like, I don't think you can give like a retroactive sack in that case. What's an apology to at this point? Like, that's just something where he got robbed, and it could legitimately be something that cost some money down the line.
And it could have caused a loss too. Like, it was a big play in the moment. I mean, you're a team that's fighting, biting, clawing, scratching, everything to get your first win, and something like that happens to breathe life to the other team is tough. I will say, like, the one positive that I took away from it was I thought that it gave Kellen Moore a chance to kind of like grow up a little bit as a head coach and kind of show a little like substance, so little toughness right there. He kind of got after the ref. I think it was a moment that I think he took advantage of and probably gained a little respect from his team, because they might not have seen aggression from him like that before in a game. So I thought it was a good opportunity for him.
Yeah, it's a good take. I'm going to steal it and use it, because like that's a very good point. I
was watching the game. I was like, all right, Kellen. All right, bro.
Yeah. No. Hey, Nick, where were you when I was getting hit by James Harrison with all that talk?
I mean, I was living in Pennsylvania, man.
So you saw it firsthand then. I mean, you're right there.
You're just watching like, it sucks to be
wow, look at that little white fullback that just got trucked. Yeah, that was cute.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
Mike Allstott would have broke that. That's
Fair enough.